Good evening. Let's pick up where we left off yesterday. We were working on saving data and everything like that. So what I'm going to do is, now that we kind of figured out how we're going to be able to do that, basically saving data is we got to save actual U assets, stuff like that, and reference them, which is not what I wanted to be doing. But regardless of that, that's what we have to do. So we're going to complain about it first and bitterly, and then we're going to just get it done. While we do need to complain about things to keep up appearances, we do also need to do actual work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an editor utils for this thing, and it's going to be Dashkin editor utils.h in CPP, and we're going to put all of our like saving blah 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 code inside of there, so that we can actually, get all this working. Good evening, Synachron. Hopefully you are doing well. I am getting back to work on this water stuff and saving data for all of our random shenaniganry. Basically, I was messing around with a lot of stuff. Put actor in editor folder. This is kind of an editor thing, isn't it? So we should probably move it. Alright. New Dashkin editor utils is what we want. Yeah, Synachron, I looked over your code stuff the other day. Looks like you got some pretty cool stuff going on in your GitHub. So, very, very cool. So let's, we got this checked out, so we can go ahead and save it. Just simulating a Butterworth circuit. Yeah. What's a Butterworth circuit? I am unfamiliar with said circuit technology. It's just gonna be Dashkin editor utils.h and everything on there. Ed. Alright, so we can get back to our mobile folder. Yeah, okay, good. Basically, this whole thing is with editor in a lot of ways. Alright. So you need to figure this out. It's a circuit that filters certain wave frequencies. That'd be interesting. Yeah. I remember we did a bunch of crypto stuff in college. We had one class that actually had like cryptography and stuff like that, which you might expect there to be more, but I mean they're kind of difficult classes to teach. You need people who actually know what they're doing with all that. Alright, so we got editor utils, save texture asset. Alright, so I need to shove this factory down here, and let's mark it up. Let's say below here are asset factories. Asset factories. And I could put this stuff out in the editor plugin, but I don't really feel like it. Alright, so we're gonna need a few other things. We're gonna want like a git folder for level get folder for current level is going to be like a function we're going to need. Alright, so that should be, it should return an F string. So it should be Dashkin enter utils get folder, get asset folder for current level. So we will do that. Anything over 400 megahertz? Yeah, alright. Yeah, that way you don't get a whole bunch of interference. Alright, so we've got save texture asset. We're going to want a save texture asset, save level specific texture asset. I think we should do. We should make that. So what this thing is going to do is should we have a name for it? I mean, yeah, I guess you'll pass in a name for the texture and it'll figure out the level name. So we'll do like fstring level asset directory, and then we'll just do, we'll return this save texture asset with name level asset directory texture data width and height. We'll pass through any sort of stuff that we need to grab for that. So we need these two functions here. All right. Which projects did you look at, if you don't mind me asking? The ones that were just public on your GitHub. I didn't, spend like, I didn't go over it with a magnifying glass or something. Let me see. I forgot to pull up my journal. I keep a journal of what I do every day. Helps me figure out what the heck I am even doing with my life. So Monday we were working on water stuff. Night maps. Tuesday we are going to refactor. Create utils for saving asset data for levels. We're going to set up all the textures, all the cached textures for water materials or water objects. We'll take a look at that. Yeah, I think the ones that I looked at a little bit more were the kind of the Mario one you had on there, and I think the Vulcan particles I looked at a little bit. Let me see, yeah. Did you like the pictures? I don't think I caught the pictures. Or is that the one in the boxes? The OpenGL boxes. Boxes everywhere. Yeah, I hadn't looked at the boxes one that much. We're actually compiling fragment shaders and then actually using them, doing all that crazy stuff. Yeah, that was college for me. We were doing a lot of that. We didn't use any of the OpenGL stuff. We were pretty much DirectX the whole way. Yeah. Alright, let's see. I'm going to need what function site? So we got the get asset folder for current level. So I'm gonna need to get the current level. You want to make money off of your current open source project or your current project? Well, I would let go of large money-making schemes and just concentrate on things that are reliable for making money to start with until you have security. But if you do have what you want, then go ahead, roll the dice. Alright, so I see get current level Unreal C++. How do I get the name of the current level? Let's see, I want to get the current level asset. Well, let's see if the world actually has what we want. So we got like world.h. I mean, we got get levels. Return the set of levels in this collection on the world. And what does a U level have on it? U level is in Unreal. It is a U object, but it's not a U asset. So how do we know which level asset we got? That's kind of what I'm thinking. If you make money, it'd be a very nice bonus. Yeah, well, the way I made money was by getting a job and working a lot of hours. And that's pretty much what I've found worked. Yeah, I don't see the actual... Like, we have the U object, but the U object... Does the U object have anything on it that like we can actually use for getting the path to the asset? I mean, I can get the level name or whatever, I guess. It might actually be on the level. Returns the name of the exporter factory used to export this object. Alright, so I probably can get the level off of the world and all that sort of fun stuff. Alright. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to need to go to the... Actually, I should, before I forget that I added files, I should add files to my build so I can include them easily. Alright, so this is public, utils, editor. Let's keep it alphabetical. Yeah, I think it was in the physics utils is where I've got how to grab the world. And let's see, I'm gonna want... Do I have a good place to put like a get? Got level utils. Ensure landscape grass spawn. Alright. Level utils. What would be a good place to put the get world function? Just generic things. Work in school would be too much? Yeah, I know some people in college that did that. They basically almost had mental breakdowns with how much stress got put on them. It can be incredibly tough. My solution for that was basically just to work at school as much as I could in order to graduate faster. And get out of there. Well, I'm just going to make a function here, which is I think this get world safe. I'm going to want to change this one, so it's going to be Dashkin game instance.cpp. Is it Dashkin game mode? .cpp. Alright, so let's see. Get world safe. Alright, so we're going to want to, like, if with editor, we're going to have u world star world equals null pointer. Alright, so if this does not equal null pointer, then we'll do world equals this, and then we'll have if world equals null pointer, and then we'll just return world at the end here, and then we can get rid of some of this code that we were using before, like snagging all this stuff. Let's check out our files. So pretty much just cleaning up some stuff that I was working on yesterday here to start with. So it'll be a little bit before I actually crack open the editor and start using it for stuff. So this should allow us to grab the editor, the world inside the editor. And I could have like the Perforce plugin for helping out with checking out files and everything, but I find a lot of those things hang Visual Studio and do stupid stuff, so I just do it myself. Alright, so I need to check where we have with editor and just remove it. Because what we were doing earlier was we were unable to do raycasts when we were in the editor because we didn't have our game mode set up, and therefore we couldn't like get the world properly and everything like that because of, you know, editor stuff. So we're just fixing our fetch functions. Alright, our object utils. Let's see, we're not quite done. Let's go to our editor utils and let's finish this off. So we're going to want to, I guess, do we need to include the level.h? So uLevel, which is inside of level.h, yeah. And I've got the Unreal docs on my left monitor. I'm just looking at the documentation of the class. Alright, so we're going to call getWorldSafe. So uWorld world is this. If world is null pointer, we're going to return text. Let's just say, what did we have otherwise? It was like /game, let's just like temp. Otherwise, we're going to grab world. Let's grab uWorld. And let's see, we're going to want get level. Return the level with the given index. Return the name of the current map. Alright, so we get level, but we need an in-level index. Get model, get blah, get selected levels, get world. Let's begin play. I guess it's just, we'll get we have a get levels function, so it's a const t-array. uLevel pointers. Levels equals world, get levels. So we're just going to do for uLevel pointer, level, and levels. And we're just going to return the if level equals null pointer. Continue. So let's just organize this a little bit differently. So if the world is not null, then we can do this sort of stuff, and we'll just return inside of the first loop in here. So we're going to want the level uAsset. I'm trying to see if there's anything on the level that has the asset data for it, so I can know where in the asset database it came from. And that way I can... No blueprints today? I'll get to them. But I need to do some housekeeping first. Okay, so new objects have... Find function, get archetype, return the template, get default config file name, get config override, get default subobjects, get description, get detailed info, get detailed info internal. We have is asset. Let's just see, what am I looking for? Reload config, rename, serialize, static class, static config name, static package. Is that what we need? Static package? Might be. Who knows? It might be what we need. Alright, so hopefully that function will grab our asset level folder and all that stuff. So we should go to our object utils. We should clean up what was in here. Alright, so we don't want these two methods here, which means we also don't want these. I'm trying to remove the editor only stuff from some of these files, because I want the editor only stuff to kind of be in its own little area as opposed to just kind of crapping up everywhere. Just kind of keep that gobbledygook together so that it doesn't spread like a virus. Take your time, C++ is better. It depends on what you're trying to do, but I know you have a preference for messing with C++ stuff. And hopefully I can kind of clean up some of this. Alright, so this is the object utils file. So save texture asset, we can remove this function, remove this function, we can remove this function, we can remove these headers. Alright, cool. So I think we got our C++ stuff written for this. Let's test it out. See what we got. Lovely utils.h cannot be saved because we changed it? What did we do to it? Yeah, we didn't do anything to it. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed it, but I've removed the clean buttons and stuff like that from my right-click menu in Visual Studio. So there were so many damn times that I would accidentally click the clean project button or rebuild project buttons that are right here, that I just, God, if you're working in a large project, just go into your Visual Studio settings and just remove that damn thing. Just get rid of it. Save yourself 20 minutes at some point. And I'm a little upset that we can't just save an asset into where we want. Cannot open include file level.h. Well, why not? Well, the question would be, do we even need level.h here? Let's see if it's already included by virtue of some other large compile time. GG. Yeah, that was basically story time whenever that happened. Yeah, that was why on those larger projects, like, you just get Incredibuild and use it. It works. So if you're doing a bunch of stuff in college, Synchron, are they teaching, like, when I was in college for game dev, one of the things that I found that they did not teach very well at all was they didn't teach us, like, anything about databases, which sucked. They didn't teach us anything about networking and, like, writing servers or any of that. And they didn't teach us, like, anything about multi-threading that was anywhere near practical. Like, they taught us about threads, of course, but they didn't, like, teach us any good patterns about it. Like, they're like, oh, you should do all this lockless stuff, when really it's just like, what you should really do is try to use fibers and other stuff like that. You're learning nothing from school right now? Yeah. I found that the only, like, after, I think, sophomore year in college, I didn't really learn all that much at college. I just learned stuff working with other people on projects because, at that point the professors just kind of dried up. You didn't have the people, like, they just didn't have qualified people on that. All the graphics knowledge is from self-teaching. Yeah, that's also definitely true. Is graphics and all the rest there is just. Alright, let's go to our gameplay. Where the hell was this? Like in widgets or macros, camera, player, geometry, meshes. It's not meshes. Oh man, where was this garbage? There's mini mushroom, dynamic mini mushroom, component. There we go. I need to replace this thing. So it needs to call this other thing. Yeah, most of the programming knowledge is from self-teaching. Yeah, that was pretty much what it was. Like, my Christmas breaks in college, my summer breaks. I didn't really take summer breaks, but all of those, we pretty much just hold ourselves up with, a couple friends or whatever in a room for a week, and we'd crunch something out. We'd work on, like, I need to know how to do 3D skin mesh animation, and just, like, write all the shaders for it, and figure out how to load the models. Yeah, I found that was pretty much, at a certain point, the only way forward with programming is to just go program. If it's in a book, it's already too old for a lot of the stuff. At some point, it turns into just hand me the damn data sheet, and that's it. I don't want anything else. Full agent instance static component. Alright, that's fine. So we should go back to our water test content here. And this save texture asset is no longer here. What we want to do is we want to call a few other things. We want to call this editor utils. Let's grab this get asset folder for current level. Let's just call that function. Alright, we can't call this function, and the reason we can't call this function is because it's not static. So let's go close down the editor and make it static. Well, my suggestion with database stuff is, like, I've worked on all types of databases, like back when I started, we were using MySQL, and then we used Cassandra, then we used MongoDB, then we went back to using MySQL, and then at Amazon, we're using like Dynamo and all of that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, I just like using MySQL. Like, nothing beats just a solid architecture with a simple database schema and writing it out. Like, it's really funny. Like, DynamoDB has some really awful constraints for like searching, and a lot of people assume like, oh, we can just scale all this crap out, and it's just like, no, like you still have to think about your database schema. And to be honest, I think a lot of the newfangled MongoDB and like whatever stuff, I just haven't seen any of that beat in practical development for games. Just getting MySQL up and running with the proper cluster and proper sharding and stuff like that. Just Microsoft SQL or MySQL, just those seem to just do the job. Like, they don't fall over in the middle of the damn night like MongoDB does. They don't have horrible, weird errors with time like Cassandra does. And they're not awful to use and unreliable like DynamoDB is sometimes. So if you're going to learn any database stuff, I would just use MySQL, and probably MySQL and then like Mongo, and then you got a good coverage on it. But I know like the first day on the job, I was like, what the hell is a database? I had never used one, and I was a server engineer. I had a task that said 30 days, make a server, and I was just like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And that was last week. So let's see, what the hell am I even doing here? Keep getting distracted. Alright, we wanted to make these functions static. Yeah, that was real rough. On Dragon Age Legends, we went from MySQL to using Cassandra, and then just like a couple months before going live, we switched to MongoDB, and it was just awful. Like, it was just trash. Like, we should have stuck with MySQL from the beginning. And a big reason why Dragon Age Legends had to be shut down sooner than it did, sooner than it would have otherwise, because the databases were so expensive, because we didn't know how to use MongoDB properly, and we had switched to it only a couple months before we did it, so we had to we were basically throwing money at the database because it just fell over all the time. So we just made we just paid for the most expensive servers that we could, because otherwise stuff didn't work. And if we had just written normal SQL or something, we would have just been fine. It wouldn't have been a problem. But a lot of that was politics on the project. One team really wanted to use NoSQL databases and went to seminars and stuff like that, and were like, I am so smart, I drink $7 coffee every morning and have $5 toast, and I'm an important, smart, intellectual person, and I use NoSQL because it's the future. Versus people who are just like, I just want to ship the damn game, and I just want the game to work. And the problem was the hipsters were in charge of the database. And what do you know? They don't know a damn thing about financial responsibility. Alright, so we should be able to call our function now. So get asset folder for current level. So let's go ahead and snag that. And we're just gonna info log it. I think, I mean, one of the things when I was in college, I didn't understand why games were so hard. Like why games didn't ship. And then when I got to the industry, you're like, how does anything ship at all? The asset folder name is script/engine. Jesus Christ. I don't know, it was one of those things that I was always really weirded out by. I was like, where are the experts? Where are the super smart people? Because you go to college or something, you read books about like, John Carmack being the smartest dude ever with like Masters of Doom or whatever and all that, and then you're like, oh man, there must be all these like super smart, crazy, insane peoples all over the place. So let's see where on this thing we've got this. So we have this array of levels. We have one level. And I never found any. Everyone is just trying to get by. Alright, so we have the level script actor, which is just waterfall and cave. Level script blueprints. Is there any information as to where the hell this UI asset came from, though? I mean, it might be on the U object itself. U object base, waterfall and cave, stat ID, object flags. Well, it's kind of unfortunate that we're not actually seeing our, like our path to our level asset in the asset database. Like we have waterfall and cave _ C. So I mean, we could get the name of the level actor and then like scan the asset database for it, but that's pretty stupid because we could have two levels that have the same name, supposedly. And that's not good. Let's see, get asset path for level Unreal. Get asset path for actor. Alright, that's on the forums. Load object from path and get object path. I'm trying to get the asset from an actor, and I want to get the path name of the asset. I want to open any kind of asset. Like, is there really just nothing on this level object that we can use? There's gotta be something on this damn level object which has, something. Something, anything. It's gonna be here. Is there an asset ID? Or something like that on here? Like we have internal index, object flags, stat ID. Here it is, outer private, game test levels prototype. So where is that? It's on the uObject base, outer private. Alright, this is weird. So we have the outer private, which is alright, so why don't we just see if we can do something here with this. So we'll do levels sub-0. Or I guess level. Identifier level is not defined. What functions do we have on these TRA? I mean, it should just be levels sub-0 for this watch. Alright, so it's a uObject, which is on uObject base utility. uObject base. I guess we need to go to this object base utility. So where is this? uObject base? Get outer. Alright, so if we go to the uObject and we do get outer, outer private, and then we want to get the name of it. Get source file, get the common tag name used, get static config name, static package. Get f name? I guess it's get f name. Get full name? Returns the fully qualified path name for this object as well as the name of this class in the format. Alright, let's get f name. F name, outer name, object, get full name. What's the full group name? Walks the chain of packages until it reaches the top level, which it ignores. Now let's get full group name. F string full group name. Object get full name. How many names do we need? F string full name. Alright, so info1, the outer name is %s. Let's do outer name dot toString, and then we'll dereference that. The full group name is %s full group name, and the full name is I'll just detach that debugger and then save and quit. All right. So if you're such a big fan of C++ Sinachron, why is that? Does not take 0 arguments. So see, this says start with outer walks up the chain until it reaches the top. Yeah, let's just say true. Because I definitely, in college, was like, C++ is the way to go. And I found a lot of that on larger projects, for game projects. C++ was the best option for a lot of games, but that I wish I had learned a few more other languages kind of after I started with some of the lower level stuff. Because I found, you like the control, yeah, that's really what it boils down to most of the time, is I know exactly what the hell this thing does. And yeah, what I've found is a lot of people who know like C and C++ real well like to use C and C++ for things that probably shouldn't use it. Where, you know, like a lot of, like I remember when I was at EA, some build system stuff was like running like Lua scripts and stuff like that for build systems, and it was just like, what the hell, man? Just like use Python or something else. Alright, so let's construct our static height map here and log our stuff out. So here we go. The full name is world game test levels blah 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 waterfall and cave dot waterfall and cave. Okay, so it's the full name, is what it is. But it looks like it's parsed a bit differently, so we're gonna have to do some shenaniganry to pull it out. So it is world. Nice, that's the full name. Well, let's just see level get full name and see what that gives us. Like how I Google Jai, and like the first thing on Google is the Jai site from inductive.no, and you click on it and it's like error establishing database connection. You're just like, well, I think the language is totally ready for production. I like how the first thing they do is put shots on Java. They're like, languages like Java were marketed as idiot-proof. It's like, yeah, it's all about how you write code. Like, you have all the tools. You know, language gives you a set of tools. You can choose to use them or not use them. It's like, should I use GoTo for this? Ah, hell yeah, I should. Alright, so the full name of the level looks like this. Alright, well, that's fine. So we're going to have to parse this thing out if we want to get the actual path out of it, I think. So why don't we just make a function here which is get path for asset. So it's going to be like fstring editor utils get path for asset, or get folder for asset. And you'll pass in a U object. So if the object is null, you're just going to return text unknown. Otherwise, we are going to do and it was the full name, right? Yeah, full name. Right. Alright, so we have the full name. What we want to do is we want to look for the first space. So full name equals full. Let's pull up the fstring documentation so I get all these things, the names right.